In this episode, we're going to be installing some Fortunato coilovers. So basically, if you measure right here, the spring from the top to the bottom, it's at 7 inches. We need to adjust this collar, compress the spring so that it's 6 3/4, so that we have a 1/4 inch preload. This spring is from the top to the bottom is right on the money at 6 3/4. So now I'm going to do that for the rest of the other springs. To adjust the ride height, you just gotta unloosen this bottom collar and not this one, because this one is, as you know, what we did earlier, adjusts the preload. So you can have premature failure on the shocks if you were to adjust this. Now when you install these onto the car, all of your adjustments are gonna be in the bottom. As of right now, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and remove the front struts and then proceed to removing the rear. I'm not entirely sure on what all I need to remove. For sure, what I'm going to do is take these ABS lines, disconnect it from the struts, and then on this side I'm going to remove this bolt that's connected to the strut. Basically anything that is loose I'm going to be hanging. I'm going to try to get the strut without having to remove this. On this bolt down here, I'm going to unloosen that, and that should free up the strut, and then lower the vehicle and take the bolts up top. Should be 3 12mm bolts for the strut tower. I'm going to try to get it off without having to remove the power brace or the strut tower brace. Should be able to. So here's a little comparison with the coilover and the shock. There is a driver and a passenger side. How I figured it out was just noting the brackets for the lines, but this one, you have the brackets on the opposite sides, not facing the right direction. This will be driver and this will be passenger. Now we'll just raise this up and get this aligned and button everything up. You guys see that? Look at that angle. I'm gonna have to correct this in my tie rod video, which will be coming up in the next episode. Should be level. So I got everything bolted up, all of your ABS and brake lines, tighten down the rear strut. Now I'm going to lower this thing down and tighten the top bolts. So now I'm going to focus on the rears. Up here, there's 2 bolts, and then right here, there's going to be a bolt on the rear shock. Now, I'm not exactly sure if that's all I have to do in order to drop the spring, but we're going to have to remove this spring. So I'm going to start by removing that and then see how much this lowers down, and maybe I can pop that spring out. I got a jack under here. What I'm going to do is remove this bolt on the lower control arm. I should be able to lower this jack, and this should just swing out so I can take that spring out. And then we won't be installing this spring back in. The new coilovers doesn't have a spring. They actually have 2 different styles. I just chose the style of all-in-one assembly instead of just having like one strut and a spring combo. I wasn't digging that. I just wanted one coilover setup.
Very nice. is.
Here's a comparison of the stock and the new setup. Each side is basically the same. There's not much difference. The only difference that I saw is that the logos are different, but I don't think it really matters too much which side goes where. But I'm gonna do this one driver's side so that the logo is looking like that. Now the daunting task of adjusting the ride height and doing an alignment. Just threw a couple lug nuts on there. We're gonna lower it down, see where we're at, and then make adjustments if needed. Oh God, this thing's low. I managed to get the stands out. Now the rears look pretty good. Passenger and the driver quarter panel both measured 4 inches from here to the end of the rim lip. I'm not sure if that's where you're supposed to measure, but the gap between here, I can go lower, but honestly, this is a daily. I'm really not trying to go too low. Now the front, that's a whole different story. It's literally resting on my wheel. It is literally, the fender is on my wheel, on the tire. So the fronts need to be adjusted extremely bad. We need to raise the front. So what you do is you unloosen this. So I got a ways to go. This is super, super low. I decided to do 4.5 from the top of that to the bottom of there is around 4.5 inches. Do the same thing for the other side. The fronts are at -2 degrees camber in. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. The good thing though is that they're equal on both sides. As long as this is in the middle, it won't be pulling to the left or right, so that's a good thing. The bad thing is that it's gonna wear my tires in the inside. It sucks, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get some aftermarket control arms. I'm assuming uppers. As for the rear, driver's side is maxed. I can get it to maybe like 3.2, doesn't really matter. Passenger side, I can bring to like -2.4. I don't want to do that because I might have it pull, so I'm trying to equal it out on both sides. Toe, I can adjust. What I'm trying to say is that I'm gonna have to buy rear aftermarket control arms as well. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Let's work what we got and get this thing on the road, and I guess more parts to install.